All right, starting the stream. Let's see if anyone is in here tonight. Let me try to find my chat. Studio mode. All right, so it looks like the video is working today, unlike yesterday. Let's take a look. Looks like it is working. Video is working today. I think the chat is up as well. I just don't know where it is on my screen, but that's okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead and get started. So from yesterday's video, I mentioned that for the FOMC, we were going to be somewhere in this range, triangle pattern range. And I mentioned, buy puts up here, calls down here. So far, that's been working pretty good. And I think for this whole week, this is what we're gonna be looking at for this week at least. Today, what were we looking out for? We were looking out for Amazon. So let's look at QQQ. So same thing here. Got a couple more lines on here. Now we got some after hours action that's kind of looking towards the upside, and I would just kind of redo this line down here to be more like the bear flag. But I had it like this today, which was also good. So we had originally I was thinking this would be that triangle pattern like this, right? Something like that. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks more like a bear flag if you look at these two lines here, right? Kind of looks like a bear flag or pole down here. So that's what I'm going with, bear flag pattern. Okay. But for the purposes of today, to explain what went on today, we pretty much had a gap up open, and was met with some resistance up here. And today, guys, I was mostly looking at Apple and QQQ at the same time. And right away at the open, I marked this low of the day. Low of the day, 161. I knew there was a big gap to fill. I changed it over to the 1 day. All right, changed it to the 1 day, and I marked this low of the previous day. All right, so from there I went back to looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute combo, and I was just looking for a top. And there was a top up here from the day before at 164. So I think I was actually looking at the 1 minute. Let's go back here. zoom in real good. So we had our low down there, 159.63. I said if Apple's gonna have a good earnings, that gap's gotta fill in order to continue up because it doesn't want to leave behind a gap. So instantly I was looking for puts. We had a double top here. So we had a dip here, which was good. It broke this low. So I said, okay, let's wait for um, another top to form right here, which didn't form. So then we got another drop that didn't go over this high. So that was our new high of the day. So I top fished it here, caught a dip, and maybe might have sold for a small gain. And then try to catch it again here. Thought this was going to reverse to the downside, right? Right around here. So we had our these two highs right here. And then this one broke up, kind of fake out there, but it didn't go over the second high, the initial high of the day, and caught a nice uh, movement down to here. And then said, okay, now we're gonna break, and then it didn't. It kind of faked us out there. So at that point, I said, okay, I'm gonna be patient with Apple because Apple was gonna dictate the whole market, right? Because of earnings, and it's the biggest stock. It was gonna have a nice movement. So I said I'm gonna be patient, wait for the break of this 160-170 level, and we got it down here, and I wrote it down till the end of the day until I saw that it started consolidating, right? Started building another wedge at the end of the day, something like this, right? Some kind of a wedge. And then it broke after hours, right? It did, or actually it broke, so it kind of had like two wedge patterns, I think. So I had this one, if you guys can see that right there, and then it broke down. And then I had another little mini wedge pattern, which broke bull at the end of the day, um, slightly. So I had like one big wedge pattern and then a small one towards the end of the day. And that was that. That was pretty much what happened with QQQ as well. And in the video yesterday, Tesla had earnings yesterday, so I mentioned that I thought it looked a little weak. And the reason that I mentioned that is because I was looking at the 1 hour time frame on Tesla. Where are we here? Okay, 1 hour time frame, and we had another bear flag, just like a lot of the stocks in the stock market have a bear flag going on right now, which is kind of weird, but I can see why. We're kind of just hanging around this range. And the Tesla earnings was a little wild. We had like an initial drop here on this candle, 1 hour candle, and then we had a pop after they did the conference call, which had this high wick. So it's kind of an indecision if you zoom out to the maybe 4 hour. So yeah, indecision candle here. See, the body's right in the middle and the high upper wick, big lower wick. So kind of indecision, and then in the morning it had the same thing, kind of indecision candle with the body in the middle. Okay. This is during the day, and then yeah, this is the after hours. This is the indecision candle, and then pre-market. So let's zoom in and see what I saw on this one. So we had our high of the of the earnings reaction up here. This one was actually really easy, guys. So we had our bear flag, right? So we were expecting maybe something bearish to start with. So we had that high, and then the pre-market high, and then just a straight dump right away. All right, so it's kind of like watching out for this since yesterday, and caught a good move here all the way down. I said look at the other EVs to follow, so you can see right away. Lucid, we had those levels mapped out, 33, target 28, so that was pretty easy one. I actually didn't play Lucid, I played Rivian. So we could look at Rivian, same thing, instant dump because of that bear flag kind of pattern. and and yeah, this one was actually a little trickier than Tesla. Tesla was easier to catch because it just straight flushed down. This one kind of had a bunch of little um, pops and dumps. So for tomorrow, guys, we're just watching that um, Apple, obviously. So let's look at Apple right here in after market action. Got a good reaction. They had an awesome earnings. They absolutely crushed it, and the outlook was also pretty okay. I think they mentioned that it won't be as strong as this earnings, but still higher than last year. So that's good. But we do have some toppy, is that a word? Toppy candles with the high upper wicks. And we did break this 1 hour resistance here, but there's another one coming up at around 169, 170. So that'll be something to look out for. This still needs to consolidate on the 1 hour, right? If this were to move up, break through there, it's gonna have to come back down eventually. Set a, we got our low here, set a higher low somewhere. Obviously the bulls don't want it to look like this. It'll have to look a little better, right? So once this move tops out, we'll use our fib. All right, we'll set our fib, and like let's say if it topped out right there, we would want our bounce to look something like this, come down to 164 and continue upward. So that's what we're looking for tomorrow. Uh, a what do you call it? A high to form on the 1 hour, and then form a higher low, and continue up for the bulls. And obviously, uh, on the other hand, if it goes a little lower to maybe the 618 down to 161, we can top fish the next high. So if it goes down all the way here, we can expect it to be a little weak. You know, fish that low for some fish that lower high for some puts. All right. So that's what we're looking at for Apple. All right, this was breaking up, guys. So, but it's not convincing yet. It's up, but not convincing enough yet. But I think it will continue up, but not convinced yet. All right, so we looked at Netflix today as well. This one was one to keep on the radar. Let's take off this. Let's take off the extended market so we can see this better. So same thing as most of the other stocks. This is forming some kind of a bear flag, right? We had our huge drop, and then bear flag. So what can we expect from this one tomorrow? I think it's gonna stay in the same range tomorrow. So maybe once it has a convincing break here, catch some puts there. And on the other hand, if it has a break of, well, the better uh, play would be to be patient for the bull side. If it breaks towards 408 or like 400 level, maybe 405. Once it starts breaking up towards this level, there's a huge gap to fill. $100, $100 gap. So that might be something worth catching as well. All right, but for tomorrow, I think it's gonna stay in this bull flag. I mean bear flag range. All right, so let's change this to resistance color, and I'm gonna put an alert up here. So it's gonna be a big move if it does get up there. There was a guy, what was the guy, Bill Ackman or somebody, hedge fund manager, bought a bunch of Netflix, so that could be good. And in terms of puts, let's see what levels we're looking at there. Let's look at the 5 minute. See if we can see anything here. There is this kind of a uptrend. So maybe if it breaks that, that would be good for puts. And then if you're really conservative, this would be your confirmation down here, 382. As of right now, this would be the stop loss, 391. That's not very good, but you see here it's forming 5 minute lows. So maybe it would have been good to get in here at the end of the day, but I wasn't gonna do that. Down here at 387. So you guys can see that, right? So we've got our 5 minute uptrend. So it's being lost. It's being lost right here. And then down and down. Maybe another one. So maybe if it does another 5 minute bounce and it can't break over 391, that would be a good place to get in. Okay, wait for the 5 minute bounce, hopefully under 391.20, and hopefully it breaks down this way. All right. So I'm gonna mark this green as support line, and then there should be some support down here where it bounced earlier. And let's just put a alert where it ended today and see where that takes us. So Netflix, guys, this one's gonna be good. Good for tomorrow, bear flag, and there's a gap fill. So there's both directions to play on this one. I'm thinking it might go up. Well, the RSI is not that beat up on the 5 minute. Let's see the 4 hour. 4 hours still beat up, uh, so I don't know about this one. But we've got a play for both directions, right? Gap fill and this bear flag. So that'll be good. AMD, I think for tomorrow, the thing to watch is going to be semiconductors. I guess it was the thing to watch today as well. So I think all the semiconductors are super weak. If we look at this, it's right here at our long-term support line. And let's see, on the weekly, I think we might be close to losing the weekly. So we're losing the weekly there. We're in a weekly uh, downtrend is about to confirm if we get below. All right, weekly downtrend on the weekly chart if we break below 248. And then this one was a good one, guys. You see this 288 level to catch. 288, I guess that happened 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago. Let's see how many days ago. So at the beginning of this week, so at this 240, 288 level, there's like a thin, there's not much going on here in this range here. If you guys can see this, not a lot of support, so it kind of just ran right through that. So that's what we're looking for there on this one. So I think our target here is 248. It broke the low of that bounce. So maybe try to catch this one early in the morning if it doesn't gap down too much. There's a gap here, gap fill. Gap fill at 254. So I think this one will be a good one to catch in the morning. The gap might fill early. If that's the case, if it gaps down here, try to catch a bounce and have it reject from that 257 level. All right, that might be good for some continuation to the downside. All right, let's check the RSI on this one. So this is semiconductors, SMH. This is the ETF. So the 1 day is beat up. 4 hour is down there, close to 30, and I'm assuming the 1 hour is as well. So they're all down close to 30. So we'll see what happens with this one, guys. There is a 1 hour resistance up here that we weren't able to get over. Well, we got over the last one, but we just fell over pretty hard today. So I think this one's looking really bearish, at least to 248, I think. And, very minimum that gap fill at 254. Qualcomm, here's one that I mentioned the other day as well. I think they have earnings. Let's see. Do they have earnings coming up? I think they have earnings on next week or something. All right, so they had a bear flag as well. And it looks like it's breaking down here. So we can expect this tomorrow to hit maybe 159, whatever this low is here. 158.84. All right. Get down to this level, set a weak bounce attempt, and head to the downside a little more just because SMH is weak. So this one might be good for some, puts for next week or maybe even a little longer dated ones in anticipation of this earnings. Okay, February 2nd. Looks like nobody joined today. It's just me. February 2nd, next Wednesday. So we'll see what happens with this one. All right, AMD's week as well. I think they had some news about something. I forgot what. So it looks like NVDA is a little stronger compared to Qualcomm at least, and AMD. It's holding on to this 1 hour low over here and trying to go up for a bounce, but this bounce would have to be on the daily because the 1 hour is already broken. All right, but this is a kind of a weak bounce, so I don't expect it to go go anywhere much, to be honest. All right, the bounce is only. Oh, somebody is in here, huh? All right, cool. Somebody's in here at least. Not in here by myself. Uh, all right, so NVIDIA 382. What do we always say about the 382 when it's towards the downside? Um, it favors continuation to the downside. So NVDA, everything's looking a little bearish, guys. There's a bunch of bear flags. I don't know. I'm a little cautious on buying calls unless it's a really good setup. Apple obviously, and yeah, I'm a little cautious on calls right now. So let's go over coin. So for that, you got to look at Bitcoin because I think Coinbase, for Coinbase is tricky. You have to look at Bitcoin and the overall market. I think right now this is on a 4-hour uptrend. Yep. So 4-hour uptrend. We have our low here, and this one's barely holding on. 35, 35, 35, 53, 35. So this one needs to get over this level up here. This level right here, 38, 946. 38, 946. So this 4-hour bounce that we've got going on needs to get over this 30, pretty much 3,900. And on the other hand, if we go up and fail that, then we can expect it to break through this 35 level, maybe. All right, in which case we might be looking bearish. So keep an eye on this one tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow. See if we can get some weakness here. It's already looking a little weak. This is showing me a little weakness. But if it can, top out right there and then come towards here uh, on Friday, going into the weekend, I'm thinking maybe we can go into some puts on Coinbase. Coinbase or anything that's related to Bitcoin. So that's where this thing comes in on my list. We got Coinbase. I kind of missed this one. So we've kind of got a bear flag-ish pattern. Not really. And what I'm looking at on this one is the daily bounce. Daily bounce, super weak. I think our bounce, our initial level, let's look at the fib. So, okay, the bounce wasn't that weak, I suppose. It did bounce to the 0.5. That's kind of in the middle of continuing up or could go down. The probability, I would say, is like 50%, where if it just went up to here, the probability is increased that it will go down more, continue downwards. Uh, but for this one, I think I mentioned when I was initially trying to catch this one, or when I did catch it and it reversed on me, was that we need to watch this 191 level, which it broke through, and then this 200 level, which it did not break through. So we've got, we had that resistance there on the 1 hour. So we had our 1 hour uptrend, something like this, and then it broke down all the way. So now we're back to the daily. So when that happens, when we're looking for a daily bounce and we end up back looking at the daily for another bounce, that tells you, what does that tell you? That tells you that we're tightening up, right? Something like this. So I would expect tomorrow probably go up again, maybe, try to top fish this level, the 200 level or the 191 level again for some puts. And that's what I'm thinking on that one, guys. Obviously, looking at the whole market, and pretty much it looks like it's building a bear flag there, right? And also looking at Bitcoin. There was another one related to Bitcoin. All right, so here's another one related to Bitcoin. This is MicroStrategy. The problem with this one is I think the options spreads are really bad. They're really wide. Um, I haven't looked at them today, but usually they're a little bad, right? Like the spread between the the ask and the bid is like a couple dollars, so you can get wrecked just on that if you pick the wrong side. Uh, so here, what I'm looking at is, look at this one, guys. This one would have been good back when Bitcoin was like 60K. It was up all the way at 882, and it's just been dropping since. It was on this big uptrend. It failed at this uh, 882 level, and it's just been going down since. And we are approaching another big support right here, 274, but that's a ways away. So this could be a good opportunity. Maybe shorting shares might be better on this one. Um, yeah, so 319 down to, that's 20, 25, that's 45 bucks. $45 move. That's like a 10% move on this stock, over 10% move. So on this one, what I'm looking at is a break of the low of January 24th. I think that was Monday. Let's zoom in here. So it already broke that. So if it breaks the low of yesterday or today, I mean, I would be looking to buy short some shares, or you can take a look at the contracts, but I think they're not that great. But I mean, 40, $45 move, that's pretty good. Should make some money on that. Another one is MARA. So these are all for like the weekend, I would say, but you got to be careful. Obviously, Bitcoin can rocket up, but it's on a downtrend, so I wouldn't be too worried, I guess. All right. Here is another one, MARA. Same thing as the MSTR, big fall off from the long-term support. That that pink line right there. And we've got a big support coming up around 1918, and that's about $1.50 move. That's about 7% move right there. 7% move. So you can try to play this breakout of this low from January 24th. Same thing as the other one, except the other one already broke. So that one's a little weaker. Or if you see that it's bouncing off of that level, try to catch some kind of a weak bounce there, and should continue to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at for potential swings for Friday, is those couple names. And anyone have any stocks they want me to look at? I'm going to go over a couple more, and then I won't have anything else to go over. Is that the last ticker you were talking about, MSTR? What do you mean? Yeah, I mean that was the last ticker I was talking about was MSTR. Can you guys not see it on the screen? Yeah, MSTR, that one's a Bitcoin miner, and I think it had some other issues with, I don't know, something with the CEO or something. What's another one that I wanted to look at? I think it was some earnings plays for tomorrow. All right, any tickers in the chat? I can't really see the chat, but I got my phone out, so I might see them in a bit. Tomorrow we have Caterpillar, we got Chevron, and Phillips 66. And then today we had Robinhood. Robinhood is garbage, got destroyed. Visa, maybe we can go over Visa. Visa was strong, as I would expect. They have good business. Visa. So let's go over Visa. See what we can see on Visa. Let's turn on the extended hours. And yeah, this one's going up pretty good. Got a good bounce going on. It did break over this big level, filled the gap, and shot back up. So I would assume this looks like on the daily a nice little uptrend. Kind of got broken there. Go to the week. This is kind of on a weekly downtrend. Starting to be on a weekly downtrend here. I don't know if you guys can see that, uptrend. Kind of a head and shoulder there. Now we're heading down. Heading down, but in the short term we're heading up. Okay, so let's delete this. Okay, so some levels that I would be interested in would be to see what happens up here at 219. Looks like it already kind of rejected a little bit. If you go down to the 5 minute, yeah, kind of rejected around that level. And obviously check the fib, see if that's a healthy retracement. Currently it's at the 0.382, 0.50, so this still favors continuation to the upside. Maybe try to catch a bounce at that 213 level, and see how that goes. Set your stop real tight. If it starts going under the 212.65, then this is probably going to retrace further. So Visa bullish for now in the short term, and Robinhood, can go over hood. We in the hood. All right, so this one pulled back quite a bit. I think on this one I set those fib levels. So let's see if that tells us anything. We were at this 618. All right, 714 was the other one. $7.14. Let's see where we are in relation to that. So we got down to $9. Yeah, maybe we can make it down to the $7 mark. Let's see. Let's mark that there. I mean, this stock is probably garbage. We can play this tomorrow. Maybe. It's already pretty beat up. It's gonna have a gap. So I would say if they try to fill this gap, short it 1140. The other one would be 1075. Anything that goes up towards that and doesn't get past it, it's going to be good for a a downtrend or another leg down, right? Anything filled as a gap, rejects, you know, can play that to the downside, but I wouldn't want to play this to the downside as it is now. It's a little extended, in my opinion. Well, actually, it's like trying to cool off RSI in the 5 minute. The 1 day is not going to show us anything. The 1 hour, 1 hour is beat up, but it can go lower. Yeah. So maybe a little bounce, try to catch a bounce. Or if it's really, how much is it down after hours? It's down quite a bit, I think. Yeah, this one would be good for puts with a bounce, given a bounce how I explained it. Yeah, they messed this one up. All right, does anybody have any? Oh wait, I was gonna go over Chevron or Caterpillar maybe. Let's go over Caterpillar. So this one has earnings before the open. And okay, I marked some stuff here. Okay, I see what I marked here. All right, so I marked the COVID lows to COVID highs, 0.382 retracement so far, and it's building this inverse head and shoulder. So you might expect this to go up from here, but I mean, obviously, if it goes up, that's going to be most of the move. If it goes up in pre-market, right, that's going to be most of the move. So we'll see if it can get somewhere close to the 230 range. I didn't play this earnings, but maybe try to play a break of this 1 hour level here, 218. If it can break 218, then I think it goes up further than that. Otherwise, for puts, if it breaks down this level or the low of today, 210, then your target would be down here, 207, $3. But this one's going to depend on earnings. Chevron, let's do Chevron, and that'll be the last one because I don't see any comments. Chevron. Chevron has been on an uptrend, pretty good uptrend. All right, and I think these are going to continue going up. And what I'm looking at for Chevron and Phillips 66, looking at those earnings and maybe playing XLE. So this was on this wedge pattern, which broke bullish. And my target would be that 68 level if it doesn't get there in the pre-market. All right, we've got some kind of a tightening pattern here. If it gets over 67, be looking to play some calls on XLE. Other than that, I think that's all I have for today, everyone. Keep an eye out for IWM, 190 level to break. SMH has a nice level there. Long-term support is being broken as we speak. 254 could be a target, and then 248. and also the semiconductors. And then for swings, we're looking at a bounce on Bitcoin overnight and during the day, and just watch out for that weakness on Bitcoin. That could give us a sign of some things to come. There's a lot of bear flags out there, so keep an eye out for that as well. And obviously Apple, if Apple retraces back down into that bear flag as well, that could be a sign of bad things to come for Monday. All right, guys. So everybody, uh, trade smart, and see you guys in the next video.